Good evening and welcome to, what would you call it? A very funny podcast because we have to decide about the final and what's happened. I know it's a shame what happened to the player, but it doesn't help when you're in the final week and such a close final, which Joe looked like he was going to run away with it the way the Bengals started, but NFL decided just to shut the league down for the season so we can't even use week 18 results to get it through. But anyway, we thought we'd have a talk about it, and obviously the poll did go on, and it was pretty unanimous. But I'll let you guys have a chat about it, and we'll wait for drunk Craig to come on. So enjoy the peace and quiet.
I think the first things first, like the fact that Dahmer's in decent shape now, he seems to be getting out the worst of it is obviously a good thing. So it was pretty scary. I don't think you watched it live, but I just started catching it. It was scary to watch, Ken.
No, I didn't see it live. I'd seen the highlight of it.
I was still in shock in the morning when I got up. Like I went straight on the GoFund and put some money in it. Like it's scary.
Really, really scary to watch, Ken. It just shows you like they do put themselves in the line for that game, Ken. So it's good that obviously he's doing well now. But from a fantasy point of view, it's just an absolute shit show now, is it? Because at one point, I was up at my mates playing poker at night, and at one point I was looking at being like 25, 26 points ahead with Dalvin Cook, Jefferson, that to play. I thought, oh, I'll sleep easy tonight, Ken. then when I woke up and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna lose this year, Ken. But then obviously that happened. It's just it stinks, does it?
Yeah, it's I don't know there's not much you can do, obviously, but again, it was a good hit. Again, it was a good challenge.
Yeah,
the way he jumped up, there's obviously adrenaline got him up, and then but Higgins been getting a lot of grief online, I think. But
it's pretty poor he's getting up. But you notice with the tackle, his shoulder was right in for his heart's at, So like that's just the risk that you play. Again, you see so many head-to-head hits and all the rest of it. So like. There's not much you could have done about that to stop that from happening, Ken.
Yeah. I think it was like, what were the doctors coming out with? Like 1 in 3 million chance or something like that. Something crazy.
But it was scary to see. I did kind of use follow normal football, but I'll say soccer. From Christian Eriksen, he'd obviously collapsed in the pitch.
That was.
I've no shame in admitting I had tears in my eyes, Ken. It was a similar situation with that. It's just something you don't want to see, is it?
It's a weird feeling for everybody watching, isn't it? Because you don't see it. It's not a regular thing, so it was a big shock for everybody. Not only for Eriksen, but also for Damar. You know what I mean?
I think the fact as well that the NFL was potentially wanting to restart a game 5 minutes after he was carted off the field, and I think that was pretty poor on them. Obviously, it's a difficult thing to have to go and decide for it today, but it could have taken a bit more time. Well, obviously, eventually they did, but there was a spell when it looked like they were going to be putting the game back on, which I thought was pretty poor.
Well, yeah, because you actually had to resuscitate him on the field as well, so it's not as if
10 minutes it took them. 10 minutes. They were doing it live on the field for 10 minutes, trying to bring him round, Ken.
I know early on there was one of the commentators, I was watching it on the NFL, so like, oh yeah, we can't quite get the cameras in, and one of the other ones went, and it's probably a good thing.
Exactly.
But like they kept on shooting away for adverts and coming back and going, oh yeah, still no news. We'll go for another advert. But they didn't know what to say. They were just completely in shock. Like, but the fact that at least they covered them over, because you can't really idiots like drone cameras and all that to be having a peek and see what the hell's happening. Like, so because every part of that field is covered with a camera, so I'm glad they covered it over and kept it private.
And a good thing in that is obviously he's breathing on his own now because he was able to like FaceTime some of the team today. So he's obviously
the first thing he asked is, did they win?
That's it.
So it's at least that's a positive side of things, is it?
It's good. I think there's like a GoFundMe page, and it's quite a few million for him, things like that. So.
Well, $7.5 million now, I think.
Is that what it's at already? Jesus.
Well, before the game, it was only at $2.5K.
Yeah, and I know it's crazy.
It's just it's got $7.5 million now, Ken. It just shows you.
It's mental.
You see, did you notice that he with the Washington? That was a cracker, was it? So there was a carpet company that put in, I think it was it 5.5K, and then the Washington Commanders underneath was 5K, and it was like, you're still gripping even if you need to give to charity, Ken. A carpet fitter's giving them more money.
It's mental.
That was pretty funny, like.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, obviously, Ken. Usually you get a GoFundMe, it's for the family, but the fact they're just doing it for his charity drive is awesome. Like, it's probably like it was 7.6 million yesterday. There's probably even more now.
I know. It's crazy, isn't it?
It's crazy. It's a good show from everybody across there, around the world, really.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, it's still scary. But like you say, remember what happened? Was it Eubank that thing with the boxer?
Aye, with the Heed.
Yeah, but he was never the same again. Like, I'm just hoping Higgins isn't the same and just like chickens out of like getting hit and hitting, because that could easily affect him. Like, I know they're all saying he's doing well, but it's still a bit scary. And it will be in the back of his mind. So, because I like Higgins, he's a brilliant player.
He's been brilliant this season.
That's a bit advertising there in the background, is it, Craig?
On the tinnies.
On the tinnies.
Get the Madden game on, man.
That would be fun to watch, like, but maybe no for YouTube. But yeah. It wasn't fun when you're running the other way.
Am I playing both of you at the same time?
You're not playing me, like, no. Like Craig.
He'll destroy me.
Heads up, I've been in the boozer most of the evening, so
Right.
I don't drink very much anymore. So
unfiltered approach then.
Unfiltered approach.
You've been sick on your shirt there, Craig. No, sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, brilliant.
Can't wait. Are we live?
We're live.
Yes.
Oh, shit. Late. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Where were we at then? Good evening, everyone.
We're just talking about Damar. We're talking about Monday night.
Yeah, that was a harsh one, wasn't it? It's Higgins I feel sorry for the most. I've got to say, it's he's going to take that home, and he's never going to forget that.
No, we were just saying that a minute ago, like when you just came on with your tinny.
Obviously. You start, you finish.
Yes. So what time are you teeing off tomorrow?
8:07.
See you there 8:05 then.
I think it'll be in the dark, but we're teeing off at 8:07.
Set your alarm for 8:07, Craig, would you?
Thank you very much, Old Man's Cowboys, for putting me in a tea time for 8:07 in the morning. But
well, you need to be wide awake.
So where are we at, guys? What we doing?
Well,
I am absolutely gutted that your final was ruined. I really am. Obviously, sorry for Damar and all that, and I hope he gets better and all that shit. But I'm gutted that your final got ruined. I really am. It's where are we at?
I think the hard thing is we've both put so much into it this season,
Absolutely.
We've both put so much into it, and for it to end the way that it is, which is nobody's fault, it's just shit for everybody, because then there's a decision got to be made that isn't really the decision that anybody wants, if that makes sense, because you want it to end on the field, because fantasy is all about luck, really.
Absolutely.
It's a luck of how the teams get on. Ken, look at my team. Like 4 of my players just fucking didn't decide to show up. Ken.
Which is what happened in the first round, Chris, by the way, just getting back to the first round,
100%.
You go 100 points, 100 points, 100 points, 100 points, you get to the playoffs and you go 54.
Yeah, but then Joe's team didn't turn up either, because he was on, before the game started, he was on 42 points. Yeah, I mean, he got 8 off of Burrow, but the rest of your team didn't. You had 1 point off your.
Yeah,
I
was in the same boat.
The difference was the Dallas defense with the 10 points. That was probably the difference in the two teams. None of them really looked that great. But
it was terrible. But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Somebody's got to win.
Against, these two teams have got into the final because they've been great all season. So the final ends up a 0-0 door trip, and you end up in penalties. someone still wins it. Someone still gets the victory. You know, the final might have been shit, but the whole entire season was wonderful.
Oh, definitely. It would be interesting to see your average scores between the periods for the whole year.
It's, you know, I know that we all enjoy it and we do it for fun, and we do it for fun, but we put a lot of work into it, you know. And this league especially, you know, it feels kind of special in the sense that, you know, everyone's so into it and everyone gets involved, and to see it, you know, to have a season end this way, it's harsh for both of you guys. I'm sorry about it. You know, I know it's not our fault or anything, but
it's just one of that things, is it? I think that was one of the suggestions I stuck in the day, was obviously like looking at, you know, scrapping both the scores for week 17 and then bringing the averages, the starting lineups of the players over the previous 16 weeks to see what the score was. That was one of the suggestions. But what I said at the end was, look, the reality was Burrow was going to win you the game. No, Gabe Davis, you can take him out of it. He could have ended up with nothing, right? Burrow was already on pretty much 10 points within minutes of that game starting, Ken. So I obviously suggested today that, you know, give a title to Joe, because the reality was my team didn't turn up and his player was going to turn up. Give a title to Joe, split a win-ins, and do it that way, Ken. But obviously then put suggestions in the day to the group, and obviously they've had their feelings on it as well. So it's a tricky one, is it? I mean, personally, I think a week 80 would have been good as well, but you can't do that now either. So it's a tricky one, isn't it?
For me, guys, see for me at the end of the day, it's your final. You know what you guys decide, and I think that's, to be honest with you, Chris, I think that's the right outcome. Would be split the money 50-50, but Joe gets the title. Because we know that Joe was going to win that game. There's no ifs, no buts, no maybes. And even if Burrow didn't get him across the line, Davis only had to grab a couple in and he gets him over the line. You know, it was there for the taking. And that looked like it was going to turn into a slobber knocker. It really did.
Yeah. Well, I did put that. Yeah, I did put that in. We've got a group chat with 3 of us. I did stick that in. That was my preferred. You don't want to win it on a default, do you? Like,
of course not.
Ken, you did what went on a default, and the thing was, I was going to sleep at night, Ken, and I was losing. Ken, so it's just one of the things, is it?
Yeah, it's also what you're saying with your guys earlier on. It's like he might have had a fast start, but does that mean he still would got me over the line? You know what I mean?
Well, he could have got injured with the next play. You never know.
Exactly.
Thing about football.
He could have been off from the next play. Obviously, that's the thing. But see, the fact of the matter is as well, Joe,
the season's gone.
You had that safety net of Davies there as well. That might have picked up a few points for you along the way at some point as well. You know, and that's the thing as well. I mean, I'll give you. Doug and I were in a final in Hit 'em Hard franchise. Doug and I were in a final, and he had Burrow, and I had Joe Allen. We were in the final, and he had a 4-point lead before the game opened up. He had a 4-point lead, and he has Burrow, and I have Allen, and that's how it is. So obviously, he was even more ahead when the game got cut off. But what do you do with that? You know, we have literally half 20. We are playing in 20 leagues. And we have said, and it was all coming down to that one final. Who won that final was going to win the season. And we've just had to say, next year, let's see next year. Now, that's not what I suggest we do here, because that's just between us, you know, that's just between him and I. But for me, I agree wholeheartedly with you, Chris, that the money gets split 50-50. But I also think that Joe gets the title because he was going to win that game.
No, as I said, that's what I suggested. That's what I suggested today, Ken. Like, I'd obviously put 5 options, but the one for me that sat more like Ken, that felt like was obviously giving Joe a title, because there was no way Joe Burrow wasn't going to win that game for him. No way, Ken.
No, unless he got hurt in the next play or something like that.
And it's if buts and maybes then, is it?
It was going to be a slobber knocker, that game, an absolute slobber knocker. That was going to be a 50-49 one way or the other, you know, and they were all going to score points.
That's the thing, like Chris touched on when he first started. You know, before the Green Bay game, he was going to be up 25 points, and it was like, it's game over for me.
Mhm.
And then, so I didn't want to watch the Packers game, obviously, because I hate them as well. But and then obviously come the 12:30 in the morning, I was like, okay, let's see what Chris has beaten me by. And then I'm looking at their scores for Cook and Jefferson, and next thing you know, it's back in my favor. You know, and obviously Chris said it was, you know, he was expecting to be running away with it, and the next thing you know, I'm now projected to beat him with Barrow and Davis. So, but
Yeah.
I honestly, I actually went to sleep at night and thinking, I kind of mess this up. There's 4 players there. Even if 2 of them have horrendous games, I've got Jefferson, I've got Metcalf. Surely 2 of them will turn up and at least turn 20, 30 points. That should scrape me through. And they didn't turn up. That's just fantasy, though, is it?
Yeah,
that's fantasy in a heartbeat, innit?
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's like, the more you think about it as well, you know, win a title either, Ken. It'd be absolutely shit for it to end with you not getting a title because of this as well. Ken, I've got a title. I'm lucky I've got it. So that's my feelings on it, Ken.
I think
it's just a frustrating thing of not knowing what the outcome would have been. You know, you can't say it was going to happen when you just don't know.
No,
you don't know. You don't know, Joe. You don't know, but you were going to, you know, yes, you don't know, but all that would have stopped you winning that game literally was an injury.
An injury. Totally.
Well, you know, that's what stopped it. But an injury stopped the game.
Ironically, it's what stopped you winning the game, you know, was an injury. But it was the only thing that's going was Joe Burrow going down and not finishing the game. Or Mixon going nuts and them resting Burrow for the second half because they had the game well and truly won. But that was never going to happen against the Bills.
No.
So, for me, and it seems Chris is in agreement, which should be the case then, it's 50-50 on the money, 120 each. And Joe, congratulations. You are the Show Me the Money 2022 champion because you should be, because you had that game won. And there's no ifs, there's no buts.
Are we happy with that?
I'm happy.
Are you happy with that, Chris? There you go. I had it all ready for you.
As long as Chris
there you
is
go.
100% happy with that, then that's
because
you know, it's bittersweet for both of us because we just don't know.
Well, I have just put a second ring for Chris. So
can I just say that I am not that comfortable with it saying 2022 winner and then the name Bears being in it? So I want to change my vote.
You just want to say
I've just seen that coming across the bottom.
I could have just left the Tartars out and left Bears, and that really would have annoyed you.
No.
Well, it's one, you know, 2022 winner and then Bears in the same kind of sentence doesn't sit well with me, I'm afraid.
Well, congratulations, Joe. I know you probably would have won it, but I didn't really want to make the call. I wanted to win you to decide. That's why you've obviously got the chat set up and put a chat for a couple of days. But in other leagues, it's fair enough. You can make a call and that, but this is a big one. So
have you seen the Johnny? Have you seen the update on the NFL fantasy?
No, what's it saying now?
It just said week 17 scores and matchup results have been updated to reflect the cancellation of the Bengals game. This may have resulted in changes to week 17 winners as well as the matchups for week 18. We remind league managers that you can use the custom tools to adjust results as your league deems appropriate. That was at quarter past 9.
On the computer, is it?
Yeah, 9:15. It got updated.
Oh, because they put you back to £42.5. So
they've taken up. That's those scores.
What I'll do is I'll log on later after this on the actual computer, and I'll change it so you win 60 points to 57, and that way it shows on the records that you won.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
100%.
If I can manage it, but because earlier on it you wouldn't even get any of that. It just sort of disappeared. So at least I've gone back finally.
Because they took away all the. They just
all went away.
Called it, and nobody could do anything.
Which is pretty.
So we are in an absolute consensus now, aren't we? That Joe's a champ.
Yes, well done, champ.
But Joe's a champ, and that is the absolute consensus. And forevermore, your name will be on the trophy, Joe, just as soon as you get it engraved on.
But
As long as you're
just
handing it over to me, Craig, I'll be happy with that.
Yeah,
with the bear stop on.
I'm thinking Chris is going to be posting it. It's I would love to. Listen, you get me on there and name them bar, and I'll come up and present you with it. How's that?
I'll sort you out. Don't worry.
It's been a while since I've been at Golf U now. As you too, I'm sure. Are you're not still at Golf U, are you?
No, I left there five and a bit year ago.
Yeah, I didn't think you were still there anymore, but yeah, it's. But yeah, I loved Nairn. I loved my wee visits up to Nairn, and it was a great town. I enjoyed going out there, and of course, nice golf courses. So
All right. Well, next time we'll get it sorted.
I am literally going out with the Crera finance team at the end of this month as well for our yearly get together. I still meet up with them, so I can probably still get myself into Golf U as well for next to nothing.
That's fine. It means I don't have to pay for it.
Even better.
Absolutely. I'm sure if Nairn or Nairn bars getting bandied about, Old Man's Cowboys will be coming too.
Oh, try and stop them. Yeah.
I'll sort something out.
I can't imagine Doug would let that go as well.
So what I did, because we didn't know if it was going to be a tie, I did buy another Champions ring. So you send your one, Craig, to Chris, and I'll send one to Joe when it arrives. It'll be a few weeks, Joe, because it's coming from China. But I'll get it sent to you as soon as it arrives.
Sanitized for 2 more weeks.
Well, on the bright side, it's probably arrived quicker than the trophy from Chris. If you keep it on it a bit longer than I want to. But then that way, you split the money, you both get a ring, and you can wind up Craig having 2 rings just to annoy him because he's not got any yet. See, there are 2 rings you can count.
Listen,
I thought that's fair as well, because it is, yeah.
You understand this was going to be the first year that I pipped Doug to the post. It was going to be the first year. Literally every single year, it is tight as a midge's fucking snatch. And he always gets that wee because I blow the playoffs every
live
year.
Yeah.
And
honestly, I will be clicking not safe for kids content.
It was going to be year 1 of getting fucking right up him. And it was blowing. It was blowing because I didn't get it. Anyway. More to the
sure
point.
Doug will enjoy watching it, but yes. But
moving
congratulations,
on. So yeah.
How are you for picks next year, Joe? Did you give anything away?
No, I got all the way to the end with nothing.
Well done.
Yes.
Well played.
Zero trades. I think they made about 12 moves the whole season.
Listen, it's one of those ones. See when we first started. See when the first year that we said we're going to have 2 keepers, so it was just redraft, and we had redraft first year, I think redraft second year, and then we said, right, 2 keepers and that's it. And see the year that we went 2 keepers, Joe was sitting on Kamara and he was sitting on Barkley after his, and it was Barkley's rookie season, so it was the year that he was brilliant, and he's got Kamara, and I'm looking at it, I'm thinking he's going to win the next 3 or 4. And he won none because the 2 of them just, they were never playing together in the middle there. And he finally split them up. And he picked the wrong one. And he still fucking wins it. And he still fucking wins it.
That was because the 3 or 4 years they're just they're injured all the time. Every time they're back injury, injury. And I think I finished last 3 years in a row.
You did, but you stuck with them, and you stuck with them. Yeah. Every year you didn't drop either of them, and then the year you finally decide to drop one of them, you drop the wrong one, and you go on and win the freaking title.
And who picked up Barkley?
I picked up Barkley, and I will still have Barkley next year. By the way, he's still going to be
long-term plan.
God.
Lovely, Craig. The grammar's amazing.
He's had a great season.
To drop, to be honest with you, it's the first year I've ever had a position where I've got 4 guys I'd like to keep. Who do you drop? That's my position going into next year. Chris, you've got the same issue.
I've got the same, yeah. I mean, I suppose it's a good thing for I've got a choice. I've got a couple of first rounders I can keep next season, which is going to help me to at least muster some points up, because obviously I've not got nothing until the 5th, and after that I think it's nothing until the 7th or 8th. So I'm in dire straits next year. So I'll be
Yeah, but
praying
when
for
you're
the
walking
later
in with
bit.
Taylor and Jefferson, it's a good starting point, you know.
Aye, that's it as well. That was my thinking anyway, King. You're pretty much got to get 30, 40 points out them pretty much most weeks, maybe even 50. So if I can muster something else up along with them, I'll be happy. But it's going to be a tough year. It'll be a toughie next year.
What's your keeper situ, Joe? What are you thinking along the keeper situation?
Barrow and Hill's probably my two. I'll probably keep the youth and the speed and keep the points high. And I'm going to drop Kamara.
Craig, you can pick him up.
Well, you can
Fournette and Kamara, so I'm just going to use my picks early to get a couple of running backs probably.
I honestly think we're going to see a lot more quarterbacks kept this year because I think it was very much highlighted this season, a lot more so than past seasons.
Yeah.
The difference of a proper top scoring quarterback.
Totally.
I think we'll see the likes. I think we'll see Burrow being kept. Allen will obviously be kept. Mahomes should be kept by Doug, of course. But I can genuinely see some people keeping kind of lesser down quarterbacks. Who's got Trey Lance? I think that has Sean got Trey Lance? Sean Fleming? I reckon if he's got Trey Lance, he'll keep him because he'll want to see him going. But I can see other quarterbacks being kept this year that you would maybe think that's not a keeper and you'll get him in round 4 or 5. But I think people will go early for quarterbacks this year.
See, the thing is as well, obviously, like I pay quite a lot of attention to like the rookies that are coming in. There's quite a lot of most quarterbacks in college football now are running quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Running at touchdowns. So if you've got a class of 5 or 6, maybe first or second rounders coming in that are running quarterbacks, you're opening things completely wide open in the quarterbacks side of things because there's got so many options.
It's the future of the NFL. The future of the NFL in 20 years' time, they're all going to be Lamar Jacksons, you know. They're all going to be Justin Fields. Because it's the way forward.
I was surprised that Fields obviously he's been kept out. I thought he might have wanted to play himself just to try and get the record, you know. But
I think Fields is looking at the long haul. I mean,
that's long-term play over the short-term gain.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't quite worried about what's going on in Chicago right now. You know, it's butt of my jokes for a long, long time. But Fields, he's definitely a running quarterback. He's definitely a Lamar Jackson type, and they get injured a lot, and there can be problems there. But behind that, you know, Montgomery's a great running back as well. The defense is...
Yeah, it's in transition. They're all young, though. They're all young,
but that's the thing, you know. I'm more worried about the Bears than I am about the Lions, to be honest with you. And the Lions are looking, and I think the Lions are going to be very good over the next coming years. But it wouldn't hurt me as much the Lions doing well as it would the Bears doing well, you know.
Yeah. I've been enjoying the Lions play this year. They've been playing some good ball, like.
Oh, it's been exciting ball. It's been, you know, you score 40 and we'll score 41 type thing. It's been great to watch. And Dan Campbell has been a cracking GM to watch as well. You know, you seen him in Hard Knocks at the start of the season and you think, that's just for the cameras. It doesn't look like it is.
No, he's in a good
the players
job.
like him, so...
Yeah, and they'll run through a wall for him, and that's a big difference, and that's a young team as well. I'm actually, you know, we're on the way. No, regardless of what happens, I'm actually still holding out a little bit of hope that, you know, you get in seed 7, which, you know, as long as we beat Lions, we shouldn't. We can't win the last 4 games and then lose to the Lions on the last day of the season at Lambeau. We just can't do it.
Well, you could.
So
you could.
31 teams would be laughing if you did.
The last, 5 or 6, you know, for the last 10 years, we get in all the time. We get there. We're one of the favourites, and we do diddly squat. We blow it. We bottle it. Whatever you want to call it. See, sneaking in 7th when nobody's thinking that you're going to do okay. Well, that's what we've done in 2010. And then we went on and won the show. And it's even if we can just sneak in 7th, play the San Francisco 49ers at Levi and beat them, couldn't care less what happens anymore, to be honest with you. That is kill me now, I can die a happy man. I just want to get our own back in San Francisco. That's all. And if we can march in there when they are odds-on favourites, when they have done what they have done to us a couple of times, when we've been so much favourites and they have pumped us in the playoffs, if we can just get that revenge on them and knock them out, I'll be a happy
The
man.
question is, are you going to get in?
Oh, we're going to get in, Chris. We only need one to get in. It doesn't matter what happens with anyone else. And I'll tell you what, Seattle have got absolutely screwed as well because they've got to play before us.
Aye.
And if they win, Detroit are out, so they don't give a shit. And if Seattle lose, then it's a win and you're in for us. You know, Detroit or Green Bay, whoever wins is in.
Aye.
So surely those 3 games should be kicking off at the same time.
Well, you think so?
No, those 2 games should be kicking off at the same time because Seattle are completely screwed. They go out and win, and Detroit don't give a shit when they play us later on.
It's bad the way they've scheduled it, to be fair, like, is it?
It's a whole, they want to get the big game on live TV, and I get that, that's fine. But why not just move the Seattle game to 1:15 a.m. or whatever time it's America, you know? Why not move them both?
Aye.
Put the Packers-Lions game on the telly, but move them both. You can't have Seattle playing before that game does because it's such a big difference to our game. If Seattle win or lose, makes such a big difference.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, who's got number 1 pick? It's Ray that's got number 1 pick next year, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I think he romped away with it. Yeah,
sorry, I'm losing that point as well because he did. I'm
I think
still
he's
all
the
for,
highest scorer.
No, I'm all for giving I'm all for giving the crown to the highest scorer in week 17. I think that's a good idea.
Nah, stop that. But Ray had 109 points and Mark 39.848. So yeah, it's quite convincing.
So it's Batman. The Boobies has got the number 1 pick.
So they got McCaffrey in the number 1 pick.
McCaffrey the number 1 pick. Do you think I can trade on McCaffrey? Do you think you'll let him do it yet, Johnny? Or are you still going to say no?
No, I wouldn't think so. No.
Nah.
He wouldn't get rid of him when he was injured. He's not going to get him into a good team now, is he?
Listen,
it is Ray. You never know.
Here's the thing: we're going into year 10 now. Year 10 next year. Can you believe it, man? 10 years. We're decade in.
Have you been here from the start, Joe? No, Chris. When did you?
I was 2014. I came in.
I think you were in from the start, were you not, Joe? Yeah, you were.
I was 2012, aye.
Because that's when I was at Clara. That's how I know. That's how you were in from the start.
That's how I got invited.
It's but you know we had the expansion year when Chris came in and Michael came in, and
we had an expansion before that. We increased it by 2 when Ray came in, I think, and
there you go.
Ray drafted Andy Dalton.
So he did. That's right.
Remember, it completely threw everybody to Andy Dalton in the first round pick, and everyone's like, "What?" Like,
so what you
he was like 5th pick or something like that. Nobody better pick him.
So what I'm hearing is 8 years. What I'm hearing is Ray, there are no excuses. Your number 1 pick next year. You've got
no pressure.
Get your ass into the playoffs for goodness sake.
Here,
I think he's made the playoffs once. I think. Did he not?
I don't think so, Johnny.
No, I had the spreadsheet. I thought he had.
Feel free to go and look, but I don't think so.
See if it, obviously, because it's the 10th year, see if I found during my time doing this is there's not an awful lot of videos out there that helps like leagues with 16 teams. There's not an awful lot of information out there. I think that like we should do something like that kind of, you could do a YouTube video or put a podcast out and a bit more discussion about it. But there's literally nothing on 16 team leagues and how you should draft, how you should do this. We've got so much experience now doing it.
Ray made the playoffs in 2019 with an 8-5 record. There you go.
Sorry, Ray. So I take it
sure
back.
Everybody's made it at least once. So yeah.
You've got the first round pick, get further. Chris, it's one of those ones that's, a 16-team league isn't the most regular thing either. You know, it's as deep as it goes. We did try a 20-team league once, and You know,
Oh,
the
that was
scores are
dire
like
near the end, like, yeah.
45, 42 and shit like that. You know, it's it goes away. But yeah, 16-team league. As the consensus seems to be 12.
Yeah.
But for me, the 16-team league, it takes a. I don't want to give away the secrets of 16-team league, to be honest with you, on YouTube.
No, but it's like it's a challenge, is it? It's like
Completely. I
like
mean,
you've got to really think about. Maybe I think you do 1 or 2 years doing the line as well, Ken.
But then, of course, you've got to think that a lot of them are doing it. Will be doing it in PPR. We are not PPR, which makes it even harder to work out.
We're non-PPR as well, so
Yeah.
We're old school. So.
But it's very much with we are the old school non-PPR as well, and that makes a huge. It makes a huge difference towards a quarterback for me, as opposed to towards the running backs. You know, because running backs can go down injured just as much as anyone else. I mean, quarterbacks can, but they don't tend to as much as others. But yeah, the 16-team league is it's a unique kind of thing, and for me, there's always going to be guys in agency because, you know, rookies come from absolutely nowhere and people get injured and other people have got to come in. There's always going to be something in agency. It's a draft for me. See, when you get to that round 14, 15 and 16 and a 16-team, and you're like, when you're at that back end of the draft, you're looking and going, I don't even know who these guys' names are. I'm literally clicking on the blurb to see what it says about them to try and find someone that might be stealing that. And that's where it's all about the draft for me in a 16-team league, and as opposed to a 12-team league.
But of course, anybody actually setting up a 16 league, you got to make sure your bench isn't too big. Because it does ruin it.
Yeah.
Ken, 4 or 5 player bench is big enough. Any bigger than that, then you're just going to hoard players and nobody can get them. So, I think, are we 5 player? I can't 5 or 6, but
I
think we have a defense.
I think we've only got 5 on it, which is the right amount of numbers. And do you know what the other thing about that as well is? Sometimes you can have 5 players and it's on your bench, and it's not that you're going to play them very often, but it's you don't want anyone else to have them.
Yeah.
So see, when my defence are on a bye week and the best player, the worst player I've got to drop is Mike Gallup, I'm thinking I might play without a defence this week because I don't want to lose him, or I need to drop my defence, but if my defence is like the Bills or something like that. You know? And it's just a different kind of. You have to think about it a little bit more.
Totally.
You do.
It's and the fact that this league, everyone is so active. I mean, literally every single person in this league plays it to the death. Even when they're dead and they're away and they're gone. And I know that we've made it first draft and you need to win the consolation, so everyone wants to play. Even at that, everyone changes their team every day anyway. Even in the regular season, when you're just waiting on it coming, the consolations, you're dead to the world. You still change your team because you want to win the week anyway. And that's what makes it special for me. That's what makes this league special for me.
Yes. Well, 2 weeks ago, you're either looking at the playoffs or you're looking at consolation when it comes to picking up players. Yeah, like for injuries and try to get somebody, or they may get injured, got somebody ready. Or again, especially late bye weeks of week 14, and it's because there was a lot of teams that are bye week 14, so it was a bit of a bugger. Like, but you got to get the right player. Grote had all the right players to traded them all away.
That's all about your drafting strategy. That's all about your drafting strategy as well, though. You know, if you draft 5 players that are on a bye week in week 14, then more fool you. Do you know what I mean?
And it could be like Graham and draft somebody and drop. They get injured 2 minutes later.
But maybe you look at it and you think, you know what, those guys will carry me all the way and I'll lose week 14. So what?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, you
know. I think that's what Alan used to do that. He would draft his team and he would just take the week as a loss. And he'd have a strong team the rest and just go for 1 week to lose. And he got to the final when you're doing that the first year. So
I mean, you can do it that way if you're just willing to give up a week, as long as those players are, if you've got like a whole lot of Kansas City Chiefs, Bengals, and Bills are all on the same bye week. You're not going to leave the players out. So you just say, do you know what? I'll take a loss that week and I'll pick them all up. Because Because there are people who look at who's on bye weeks, and there are people who look and say, I'm not going to draft all the players on the same bye weeks.
Yeah.
And sometimes these guys will drift down the draft a bit, you know. But not really. But anyway, where are we at? So 2023 season, Ray's got first pick. Johnny, you must be about second or third, surely.
No, I wonder. I'll be
Seventh,
pick.
I think.
Yeah, I'm 7th pick and Groty's 8th pick.
Oof, that far down. That's just
well. I'm on the first one. I'm in the last game, so.
But you are both absolutely loaded. I'm expecting the 2-time champions to be making a big push for next season. That's for sure.
Let's see.
Joe defending the title. It's not easy, pal. No one's done it.
I'll have to follow in Chris's footsteps because he got all the way back to the final here. So
That's
I'll be trading all my picks for 2024 to try and get back to the final.
Well, Chris has got to try and emulate me and make 4 finals in a row. Then
I think it's one of those once that trophy's on your mantelpiece, you don't want it to leave.
No.
No, it's a nice trophy, like.
Chris, you're in a bit of limbo, eh? You're about the same. You're about the same as me, to be honest with you. But you've got a title to show for it, so you know.
Like I said, I've got a title. I can't moan.
I went for it this year. This was meant to be my year until my boys decided not to turn up in the playoffs. To be fair, it wasn't even the first one. Even if I had a scrape past Sean, they scored about 60 points in the second week. It was just the final week they decided to show up, and Mike Evans, who I made that trade for, lost my 3rd round pick for.
Yeah.
It could be worse. It could be worse. He never turned up in the final, so.
No, that would have been all right. I would have accepted that, not turning up in the first round of the playoffs to make me look stupid.
There's always next year.
Yeah, that's it. That was next year, Craig.
Always next year.
It's have you got keeper choices, Chris, or is it just Taylor and Jefferson and that's that? Are you humming and hawing over anybody else?
I'm keeping Jalen Hurts and Jefferson 100%.
Oh, you're keeping Jefferson and Hurts.
Jefferson Hurts, like I kind of go to the 5th. I could chance leaving it to the 5th and get a quarterback, but I'm going to be left with somebody shit at that point. It's not,
No.
Jalen Hurts, he's sorted for the next 4 or 5 years. I think they've got a decent O-line as well, so I think he'll keep up the running game for the next couple of years. So Jefferson, he's number 1 receiver in the league by a country mile, in my opinion. So you've seen JT this year. How much is that going to change next year? And then Dalvin Cook. I mean, I actually drafted Dalvin Cook first. So, Ken, I think I'm going to stick with that. Like, receivers have shown this year they're better to have than running backs.
There's going to be a lot of big names in that draft next year. I mean, Ray could be walking out the draft.
With CMC and JT.
Taylor kind of was this time last year, you know. I mean, let's face it, he's not had the best of years, but he's not had the best of teams.
But then he's not going to make it to the 3rd round.
Is he still in his rookie contract? Is he not?
Yeah. Is he?
I think he's going to year 4 now. I think this is year 4.
Maybe year 4 because he broke out in year 2. He didn't do much.
And you know, it's one of those. I mean, are we really going to set someone up with Christian McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor?
He won't get them both though because he's going to keep McCaffrey. He's still going to get a pick in the first. He might not get a pick in the second.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay, fair enough.
So
that's where that falls down.
He'd only get JT if he dropped McCaffrey.
Sorry, yeah. 1, 2. See this now. This is going down here. It's not getting touched again.
JT will probably end up with Amos, with Michael Amos anyway, because obviously he's got a second pick, is he?
Has he got a second
pick?
You've gone back to memory lane where we used to keep the keepers at the end in the first couple of years.
There's going to be some big names in there, though, and it will, you know, you expect it to flip now because we really did. This is the first year that 4 or 5 teams really went for it, and the other teams just kind of sold out when they thought they were there. And there is such a difference there now that
Doug's going to have fun with the spreadsheet and working out the draft pick next year. Like,
yeah.
Again.
But it's I'm looking forward to next year. It should be. I think there's a lot to play for. The defending champions not lost any picks whatsoever. So
yes,
we'll see what happens.
It might be number 16, but with the amount of teams that are going to be having keepers, if you don't keep anyone, Joe, I mean, it could be like the 4th or 5th pick, something like that, And as the amount of names that are going in there.
Yeah, it's true. It's just all that thought process of what you want to do and who you want to keep, and if you do want to keep the guys, or just go all out and hopefully you just pick up some decent players that are in the draft.
Having been to 5 finals, it's not a bad predicament to be in. Having a good team and worrying which 2 to keep.
No.
Like one time I wanted to keep 7 players, but I wasn't allowed. Like,
well, honestly, I would keep there's about 7. I would like to keep this to the point where I actually wish this was a Dynasty League now because I'm quite happy with what I've got, and I would quite happily take it into next year.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't have got half those players if it was a Dynasty League. Well, that's a problem.
That's true. Ain't that the truth? But yeah, I've got to drop a hell of a lot, and I've lost my 3rd. So what we're saying is ring.
No ring.
Yeah, ring.
That's
2
that's
rings.
how I'm.
2 rings. 2 rings.
Sorry, yeah, ring, 2 rings. Well,
actually, Chris will have 2 rings. Just remember, he's getting a ring this year because it's
he's getting the ring too, isn't it? Yes, absolutely.
There's 1.5.
We have
1.5.
1.5.
So 1.5 more than Craig. But yes,
gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure. Joe.
Yeah.
No, well done, Joe.
Congratulations again,
I
Joe.
appreciate that.
I thought
No
you were
problem.
going to get it 6, 7, 8 years ago. I really did. Kamara and Barkley, I thought, fuck me, he's set up for the rest of it. He's set up for the next 5 years. And you didn't, and you didn't, and you didn't.
Right.
And then you both split them up and you got it. Well done.
It's just the luck of the draw, boy.
Ray, if you're watching, congratulations with number 1 seed. It's an absolute curse. I'm not being funny. I had it this year. Everyone expected everything. Nothing happened. I hope you do better with it than I do. I did. Johnny, Chris, well, Johnny, you're loaded next year. I'm expecting a big push for number 3. Chris, you've got 2 good keepers, but then you're waiting for a while, so you better start studying, pal.
Well,
Sit
like,
there.
no, the last draft, Chris, the draft before, I managed to pick up Tua and Burrow in the 7th and 8th round pick. Because I had the picks in the first 3, but I didn't have a pick again until the 7th, because that's what I got all the year before, but lost in the final. So they might come. You might not get a second, but you'll get somebody good. So when's
They
your first
dropped
pick?
to you. There are some that dropped to you. There really are. I mean, if you go and look at
You just have to pick the right one.
I would say at least 2 of the top 10 scorers this year would have been picked after round 6.
Aye.
Probably, yeah.
You know, I don't know what they got and who got what, and I don't know anything for sure. But I would think that, there's so many players that just jump so high from nowhere. And that's what makes them great seasons.
Cool.
Totally.
Finding the right ones.
Yes.
Right, gentlemen,
That's
I've
it.
got golf at 8:07. I don't know if I've highlighted that, but I'm golfing at 8:07. So I am now going to my bed.
Right. Well, enjoy the off season.
Thank you very much.
Some of us have got dynasties, and I hope you 2 guys down the bottom there are going to join into the Orkney League. I have sent you the link before.
Yeah,
I'll join in as well.
We're sitting at 81 players, so
I'll be
if we
there.
get to 96, that'll be 8 divisions. So that'll be good.
Yeah.
It's random divisions, so you might not even be in the same league. So
Never know.
yeah. Cool.
Year 10 in 2023, gentlemen. Year 10.
I know.
1 decade of
I'll have
playing,
to win year 10. I won the first one.
we have had 0 leavers and 4 additions since year 1, and 0 leavers. And have I said that we have 0 leavers? And have I also said that everyone plays it to the death?
Yep.
Fantastic league.
We were actually, the first year, there was 9 of us, but you had the extra team in to make it an even number, but somehow still managed to beat Joe in the playoffs. Sorry, Joe. But then we went up to 12. But the first year we were 9. We couldn't get a 10th player. So you put a second team in just to make up the numbers. And they came
But the
second
bugger
last.
still got a ring before me, didn't he?
He certainly did. And a well-deserved ring.
Totally.
Right.
Sorry, Joe. I had to put that one in there just to thing with. But yeah, I think it went from 10
Just
to
to
12.
highlight
And
the
a couple of
fact
years
that
it
you
stayed
still
12
got a
up to
ring
14.
before me.
Oh, yeah. But you
that's
say that as well, not me. So
Listen, 2023 is the year of Show Me the Packers. I'm telling you now.
I'm pretty sure you said that last year, but it wasn't in a podcast. But I'll try and maybe record that one. We'll play it back.
Well, it's live, so
in
you
a
know,
year's time.
I'll put it out there. That's fine. I don't mind hanging my hat out to dry. You know, that's what it's all about. I'm in it to win it every
His
single
comment
year.
that he said he was going to win it as well. So there you go.
I love this league, and I love that our league. I hate the fact I've never won it. That has to change.
Just got to keep trying.
Oh, you
got to
got it.
keep trying.
Maybe another 10 years, Craig.
Next year's my year 10 one. But in the meantime,
Right.
I am going to bid
Cheers,
you
lads.
all a good farewell. Congratulations,
All the
Joe.
best,
Brilliant
guys.
season.
Cheers, guys.
Congratulations, yeah.
2023, year
Thank
10.
you.
Let's do it.
Yeah.